The supply chain trap, when efficiency becomes the problem. There is a dangerous assumption in supply chain management that a more efficient supply chain is automatically a better supply chain. It isn't. A supply chain can reduce procurement costs, increase factory utilization, minimize transport costs, and lower inventory, and still become more fragile, less responsive, and more expensive to operate. Why? Because supply chains do not fail only because individual decisions are wrong. They can fail because perfectly reasonable decisions create the wrong outcome when combined. Procurement wants lower purchase prices. Operations wants higher utilization. Finance wants less working capital. Logistics wants lower transportation costs. Sales wants maximum availability. Each objective makes sense. The problem begins when every function optimizes its own result without considering what happens next in the chain. A larger purchase order may reduce unit cost but increase inventory. A longer production run may improve efficiency but reduce flexibility. A highly consolidated supplier base may simplify management but increase dependency. A fully utilized factory may look productive but leave little capacity to respond when demand changes. None of these decisions is necessarily wrong. The danger is the system they create together. This is why supply chain leadership is fundamentally different from functional management. The question should not simply be, how can we make this activity more efficient? It should be, what will this decision do to the rest of the network? That shift sounds small. It isn't. It changes how companies think about inventory, suppliers, capacity, transportation, production planning, and even performance management. It also challenges one of the most persistent assumptions in supply chain. Efficiency and resilience are not opposites, but neither are they the same thing. The most efficient network on paper may have very little room to absorb disruption. The most resilient network may carry additional cost. The objective, therefore, is not to maximize either efficiency or resilience independently. It is to understand where efficiency creates strength and where it creates fragility. The same principle applies to inventory. Holding more stock can protect service levels, but simply increasing inventory everywhere is not a strategy. The real question is, where does inventory create the greatest protection for the network? The same applies to suppliers. Having multiple suppliers does not automatically create resilience. What matters is understanding which suppliers, materials, and capabilities are genuinely critical, and where alternative sources can realistically protect the business. This leads to a broader principle. Supply chain excellence is not about removing every inefficiency. It is about knowing which inefficiencies are waste and which ones are strategic flexibility. That distinction is becoming increasingly important because the strongest supply chains are rarely the ones designed to operate perfectly under perfect conditions. They are designed to perform reliably when conditions are no longer perfect. And perhaps this is the most important lesson for supply chain leaders. Do not optimize the parts at the expense of the whole. A supply chain is not a collection of departments. It is one system. And the performance of the system will ultimately be determined not by how well each function performs individually, but by how intelligently they work together.